Very good morning to all. Okay, I welcome you all for this today's lecture of industrial hydraulics and pneumatics subject. Okay, yesterday we have discussed some hydraulic circuits. In that we have discussed a speed control circuit, that is meter in circuit, meter off circuit, and bleed off circuit. Today we will move further. Okay, that is a new circuit, regenerative circuit. Okay, now if you see the name regenerative, okay, that means this regenerative circuit actually it is a system that is used to speed up the extension stroke of the double acting cylinder. Okay, to speed up the extension stroke of the double acting cylinder, hydraulic cylinder. For that purpose, this regenerative system is circuit is used. That means whatever the output fluid is going to come from the output or the rod end of the your hydraulic cylinder, that fluid you can use once again at the inlet in the your direction control valve. Okay, that means output actually output means what are the fluid is going to come or fluid is going to exit from the rod end of the your hydraulic cylinder, that is your output, and that is connected to the input in the direction control valve. Okay, so it is called regenerative circuit. Okay, so this circuit is said to be actually operating on the based on the regenerative principle. Okay, regenerative principle, getting it? And here whatever the fluid which is going to come from the other end means what, rod end. Okay, whatever the fluid is returning from the rod end of the your hydraulic cylinder, that is forced to come or forced uh, to go as inlet to the your direction controller. You can see here also. Here we have the this is our double acting cylinder, single rod. Okay, for extension stroke we are taking the fluid from this tank reservoir, then we have the filter, this is our pump. Okay, here we have the pressure relief valve, and this is a 4x3 direction controller. Okay, but when this fluid will come from this P to NO, that time extension of this hydraulic cylinder will happen. And at the same time, the fluid will come from this rod end. Okay, and then once again, the fluid which is coming from this line, it is going to come inside in this direction control once again. So it will give the speed for your extension stroke of the double acting cylinder. Getting it? I will show one more diagram here. Okay, so you can see here. This one means what? It's a line to the reservoir. Getting it? And two is the our filter or the strainer. And this three is our unidirectional fixed displacement pump. Getting it? We know all the symbols now. Then this is four. Four is our pressure relief valve. And this fifth means what? This is a 4x3 direction control valve. It is manually operated. Manually operated, you can see. Okay, and spring centered. Now at center position, it is closed. It is not allowing any fluid to pass through this wall. Okay, you can see it. Okay, 4x3 direction controller. Getting it? And this is 6 means our double acting single rod cylinder, hydraulic cylinder. Getting it? Now, when fluid will pass through this port, no? Okay, from this line, and if this first or extension or if you take that first position, that means this one, that time fluid will pass from this P port to A port, then from A port to towards the this blind end of the your or cap end of the your cylinder. That time what happened, due to the pressure of this your fluid, the extension of your cylinder will happen. That means this piston will move towards this direction. Getting it? Getting it? And simultaneously, what are the fluid is there in this side of the your rod side of the cylinder, that will come out of this cylinder. It will come from this line, and once again it will connect to the this flow. Okay, and once again it will come from this P to A. That means to increase or to speed up the your hydraulic cylinder at extension stroke, we are taking that returning fluid from the rod end. That is, we are taking in the direction controller. Okay, otherwise what happened if it is not connected to this end? That means what the fluid is going to come from this, it is going to it will go to your reservoir. Okay, that means it is it may be wasted. But here what we have done, whatever the returning fluid is going to come from the rod end of the cylinder, that fluid line is connected to the inlet of your direction controller, inlet of the your direction controller. Getting it? And here 4x3 direction controller is used. Okay, so this figure illustrates that the our regenerative circuit that can be used to speed up the extending speed of our double acting cylinder. Okay, extension stroke you can call, or the extending speed of our double acting cylinder. And this circuit actually it uses this manually operated 4x3 wall means what? 4 ways or 4 port and 3 positions. Getting a direction controller, and it is closed central position. If you see central this position, it is closed position. Okay, this is a manually operated. Okay, and here we have the double acting cylinder. And here we should take the note of the one point, that is in this circuit the pipelines, what are the pipelines are there? No, these lines to this cylinder. Okay, if you see the lines, pipelines to this cylinder, actually they are connected in parallel, and one of the port of this direction control, it is blocked. You can see it is blocked. Okay, at a closed position. Okay, now how it operate, once again I will tell. Now see, extension, for extension stroke, what we have to do, we have to act we have to take the position number 1. That means this one, this line we have this, that means we have to connect to this A. Okay, here we know that this is P, this is a T, this is a A and B. Getting it? So this line we have to connect, that means we have to take the first position, first block. Okay, first block or first position. That time what will happen, when this 4x3 wall is shifted to this left side, no, to this position, this wall, this fluid, it will flows from this pump, okay, to the this blind end of your cylinder, blind end or cap end, this, okay, from this line to this. Getting it? And this pump flows, due to this flow of the fluid, it will extend it. That means extension stroke of the our cylinder will happen. Getting it? When that extended stroke will happen, when this fluid will flow, or the oil will flow from this pump to this first position, and then fluid will pass through this pipeline, and when this is this will flow to this end, cap end of the, okay, due to that only pressure of the fluid, this piston of your double acting cylinder will move, okay, this side. Getting it? And when it retraction stroke is what, that time this pump line we have to connect to this P to this B, that means this direction. That means we have to take this third position. Okay, when this 4x3 direction controller, when it is shifted to the right side or right mode, that time oil from this pump, it will bypasses this direction controller. Okay, and this oil will enter into this rod end, okay, by this P to B. Okay, getting it? So this is called the retraction. This regenerative circuit, it is used to speed up the extension stroke of the double acting cylinder. For that purpose, what we are doing, we are taking the fluid which is coming out from the rod end, that means this one, and what are the fluid is going to come out, that we are taking as an inlet to this our direction controller. Due to that only, speed of the our direction speed of the double acting cylinder is going to increase as compared to our retraction stroke in this regenerative circuit. Our extension stroke is faster. Why it is faster? Because the speed of the extension stroke in the regenerative circuit, it is greater than our what are the speed in the regular double acting cylinder is there. So than that, the speed of this extension stroke in this regenerative, it is fast. Okay, understood? Understood or not? Understood or not? Normally this line, it is connected to directly reservoir, but in the regenerative circuit, it is connected to the inlet of the our direction controller. Why? To speed up the extension stroke of our double acting cylinder. Okay, here what are the retraction stroke is there? No, that is as per the regular our double acting cylinder, but extension stroke is faster than our regular stroke. Okay, understood or not? Just tell me in the chat box, understood or not? Understood or not? Write yes, no in the chat box so that we can move further. Understood or not? Prashant Mali, Sadashiv Bandgar, Soham, Ajay, Gaurav, Sontake, Shivani, Rohit, Diksha. Please let me know. Rutuja, oh, sorry, Ruturaj. Let me know whether you understood or not. Please tell me in the chat box. Just write yes, no. Only one student say yes. Other student be fast. Prashant Mali, Gaurav, Ajay, Soham. Are you listening to me or not? Understood or not? Now let us go for next one. Now we'll move for the next one, that is a sequencing circuit. Okay, sequencing circuit. Now already we have seen that in the pressure controller we have the sequence one. Okay, sequence. Sorry for interruption. Okay, so I was talking about the sequencing control circuit. Okay, so with this sequence control circuit, actually, why to use this sequence circuit? Okay, that basic question. So if you want to perform any two action okay, or two action you can call. So one after another, that means, for example, if you want to extend one cylinder, and after extension of the one cylinder you have to extend another cylinder, okay. So that to perform the action, two actions one after another, that time this sequence control wall is used, okay. And here with this sequence control wall, actually the second action, actually it is done only after the completion of the first action. Please remember, sequence control wall, in that sequence control circuit, second action, okay, will be performed, or that can be done only after the completion of the first one. Now again, this sequence control wall, further they have two basic types in sequence control, okay. One is the time travel, time dependent sequence control, and second is the pressure dependent sequence control, okay. Now firstly I will give the just a definition of the idea about the travel dependent sequence control, and then pressure dependent sequence control, okay. Then one by one we'll go. So actually in the travel dependent sequence control, what happened, second action, no, that will start when the first actions first cylinder, it will travel a certain distance, no, that time only second action will start, okay. Here no need to complete the first action, okay. When your first cylinder travels certain distance, that time your second action will start, okay. Here not necessary to end the first stroke, okay. That is called the travel dependent sequence control. And the pressure dependent sequence control circuit, in that second action start only when the pressure in the first cylinder reaches at its set value. That time only this pressure dependent sequence control wall, in that your second action will start, okay. Once again I will tell in other word, when cylinder push the your object, no, up to its end, that time only your cylinder pressure start building, will start to build up, and due to that only your opening supply to your next stroke, that will start. Getting it? Now firstly we'll go for this pressure dependent sequence control. Now you can see here in this diagram we have the I think my video is off. So in this circuit diagram you can see here we have the two cylinders, okay, 1 and 2 you can see, and we 4/3 control direction control is used, and in between that two cylinder we have the this sequence control, okay. Now in the pressure dependent control wall, after completing of our first that stroke, or after reaching that pressure what are the set value, then and only second action will start, okay. So you can see when this first stroke start, no, okay, you can see here this is cylinder 1. When after reaching that set value of the pressure, that time only the fluid will pass through this line, and it will actuate this our sequence control wall, and they would through this sequence control wall your second action will start. Your second action will start. Once again I will repeat, in this pressure dependent sequence control circuit, second action start only when the pressure in the first cylinder reaches a set value, okay. Due to that only you can see in the circuit diagram we have shown the pressure gauge, okay. After reaching the set value of the pressure in the first cylinder, then and then only your second action, that means your sequence control wall will actuate, and after actuation, that means flow will pass through this, okay. After reaching this set value, this flow will go from this wall, okay. This is a sequence control, already sequence control we have studied in the chapter number 2, okay. And when it actuate, no, that means fluid will pass through the sequence control wall, and then fluid will go in the second cylinder, and this second action will start. Okay, first will complete, or when when pressure will reach up to the set value, then only second action will start through that sequence control wall. That is simple fundamental about this pressure dependent sequence control wall. Okay, when to use this sequencing circuit or sequence control wall? If you want to perform one action after another, that time you can use. Okay, not simultaneously. If you want to perform two action or two extensions or retraction stroke of any two cylinder, okay, that time it is called synchronizing circuit, that we are going to see later on. But this sequence is what? After completion of first action, you can start another action. Another action is the you can actuate the, or you can extension stroke of your second cylinder. Okay, but depend on the pressure setting, or what are the that depend on the achievement of the pressure value of the first cylinder. If you actuate extension stroke of your second cylinder, that is called the pressure dependent sequence controller. Getting it? Now let us go for the next one, that is travel dependent. This one, travel dependent sequence controller. Now here, what is the fundamental of this circuit? Here, after passing or after achieving some distance by first cylinder, that time your second stroke will start. Okay, it is called travel dependent. Okay, for example, suppose you have to you have to travel this first cylinder up to this one. Okay, not entire, but up to some certain value. Then after that, reaching that distance, okay, by your first cylinder, that time your sequence circuit will actuate. That means flow will pass through this A to this line. This sequence control wall will actuate, and your second action will immediately start. It is called travel dependent sequence controller. Travel dependent sequence controller. Getting it? Okay, so this is a figure, and you can see upper part, upper half part, upper half part of our this circuit diagram. Okay, so upper half part of circuit, it is for the travel dependent sequence control. Okay, this one. And actually the here, what are the sequence control is there? No, that is a mechanical triggering with this roller. Okay, the sequence wall. What are the sequence wall used here? No, you can see this one and this one. And this actually, this circuit uses the 4x3 direction control wall. Okay, which is actuated by the in that sequence control 2x2 direction control, which is actuated by the roller. Okay, that means this one. Here we have the 4x3, but here we have the 2x2 direction controller with roller actuation mechanism. Getting it? So this is a travel dependent sequence control circuit. Once again, I am repeating. In this type of circuit, the second action will start when the first cylinder travel a certain distance. Okay, here it is not necessary to end the first stroke. Okay, after reaching some certain distance by the first cylinder, your second action will start. It is called the travel dependent sequence one. Okay, see the difference between that one, first and two. Okay, this is a pressure dependent sequence wall. This is a travel dependent sequence wall. Getting it? Understood or not? Understood or not? Please tell me. Understood or not? Please tell me. Understood? Pressure dependent sequence control wall and travel dependent sequence control wall. Please tell me in the chat box. Just write down yes and no so that I can move further. Rohit Kadam, Soham, Ajay, Gaurav, Diksha, Ajit, Ruturaj. Nobody replying. That means whether my voice is not audible at your end. Am I audible at your end? Okay. Now, see. In this travel dependent sequence control wall, what happening? After, see, our fluid is going to come from the pump, from this P port. Okay. And suppose when this direction control wall will take position number 1, that means this one. Okay, please see at my that cursor. So that time P port will connect to this A. That means fluid will come from this line to this, towards this. Okay, and the fluid will go from this port into this cap end of your cylinder. Okay, and your this extension stroke will start getting it. Now simultaneously, if you see here, this again pipeline or this line is connected to this circuit, this 2x2 direction controller, getting it. But here we have the check wall and this this line, but it is not connected further. That means flow will not go, flow will not pass through this line, getting it. That means what the flow is going to come from P, it will move to this A port, and from A port to this cap end of the cylinder of the first cylinder, and due to that only extension stroke of this cylinder 1 will start. See, now in this travel dependent sequence control, what happened? After reaching certain distance by cylinder number 1, after reaching certain distance in this hydraulic cylinder number 1, okay, now that is preset distance, not certain. That certain is the preset value of your distance. After reaching that preset distance value, your this wall, see this wall, middle one, this 2x2 wall will take position number 1. That means this arrow, this position number 1 will come to this one. That means this line will connect to this line, getting it. So due to that only, what will happen? Fluid will simultaneously, it will go to this one as well as to this line, and through this wall fluid will come to this cap into your hydraulic circuit too. And due to the pressure of the your oil, your extension of second cylinder will start. Okay, so this is called the travel dependent sequence control. Here no need to wait to complete first action of the first cylinder. Okay, after certain distance reaching by that cylinder 1, your second action will start. It is called travel dependent sequence wall. But in pressure dependent sequence wall, what was principle? After reaching set value of the pressure in the hydraulic cylinder number 1, your second action will start. Okay, so that is the difference between these two. Now understood? Understood or not? Understood or not? Please tell me. Clear, no? Okay. Now let us go for the, now see, once again I'm repeating. Sequence control circuit, it is used for, it is used where your first, when we need motion of 2 or more cylinder simultaneously. Sorry, 2 cylinder After one, after completion of one action, if you want to start second action, for that only sequence control circuit is used. Okay, to perform one action after another in sequence, for that sequence control I used. Now, if you want motion of two or more than two cylinder, and that to be happen is that to be happen simultaneously, for that purpose we have another circuit that is called synchronizing circuit. Okay, I'll show. This is a synchronizing. This is a synchronized circuit. See, synchronizing circuits are used where motion of two or more cylinder is required to be happen in simultaneously. Okay, that means simultaneously. If you want to extend two cylinder or more than two cylinder simultaneously, then the synchronizing circuit is, or to perform two motion. It may be extension or the retraction. Okay, no problem. But two motions simultaneously, then synchronizing circuit is used. Okay, and here actually there are the two common circuits for the synchronizing are there. One is the synchronizing with mechanical coupling, and then we'll go for the synchronizing with this flow divided one. Okay, now this diagram, first one is the synchronizing with mechanical coupling. Okay, synchronizing with mechanical coupling. Now you can see here again, to for better understanding whatever I have taken the figure. No, in all figure, if you observe, 4x3 direction control wall I have used. Okay, pilot operated, spring centered. Okay, so you can see here what are the fluid which is going to take by the pump from the reservoir. That pump is going to supply that fluid to this P port. Getting it? Now this is a central. It is closed all. Now what are the images I have shown? Now it is closed position. Okay. Now see, if you actuate this your cylinder, this direction control. That means when this 4x3 direction control wall, when it take, it's a first position. That means when it come to this left end, no, that time P will connect to this A, and fluid will pass towards the both the cylinder. That means this first cylinder, and at the time fluid will pass to this second cylinder. Getting it? And simultaneously the extension will start. Okay, and extension means what are the here? For example, some mechanical coupling or the other some work to be done. No, that is that part here connected. Okay, for lifting is there simultaneously. Okay, so that is possible use this synchronizing. Getting it? And when this direction control it takes, it's this third position. No, that means when it comes to the right side, right, that time your fluid will go from P to B. Getting it? And this A to T. Getting it? That time what happened? Your retraction will start. Why retraction will start? Because whatever the fluid is going to come from P port, no, it will go to this your B, and from this B, where it is where that fluid is going, please check, see arrow, it is going at the rod end of your both the hydraulic cylinder. That means at top of your cylinder, this, and when fluid is going inside this cylinder, that time your retraction, that means downward position of your piston will start. Okay, and fluid will come from this port, that means A to T. Getting it? It is called synchronizing. Getting it? If you want to perform simultaneously two, or if you want motion of your two or more than two cylinders simultaneously, that time the synchronizing circuit is used. Okay, simple. Understood? Understood or not? Please tell me. Understood or not? Everybody, please reply me. Understood or not? Only one student, that Shivan has given a reply. Other student, please, if you will not give a reply, I will not go further. Okay. So if you give me confirmation, yes, no, then only I will move further. Understood or not this synchronizing circuit? Here we need to connect two. In this diagram, I have shown the two parallel cylinders, and that are connected to this common direction control wall. This is a common direction control wall. Okay, and this does not again that the travel of the this. Okay, here we will need motion of these two cylinders simultaneously. Due to that only, both the cylinders are connected parallelly to this common direction control wall, and here 4x3 direction control wall is used. Getting it? Please tell me, understood or not? Understood or not? Gaurav Karande, Diksha Sontakke, Gaurav Kandalkar, Ajay Sukale, Soham Sadashiv, Prashant Male. Please give me reply. Then only I will move further. Everybody, please reply me. Understood or not? Understood or not? I got reply from one student. Other students, please give me reply. And why I'm taking this synchronous circuit, because there are many industrial applications, okay, where they require perfect synchronizing of the movement of two or more cylinder in order to complete some phase of the operation. Okay, that means there are many applications available in the industries where simultaneous actions of the two or more than two cylinders are required. That time this synchronization or synchronous circuit is used. Getting it? And to accomplish this identical task, actually we can call identical task from the cylinder at the same rate. So this synchronous circuit is perfect, and that to be employed for that application only. Okay, and this synchronizes how it is achieved. Just actually means with the help of 4x3 control wall I have used. Okay, that sorry, direction control I use. Then here two cylinders, hydraulic cylinders I have taken. Okay, and that is connected in series. Okay, and here also mechanical link pistons are there. You can see here mechanical coupling. Getting it? This is solenoid operated wall. Here, and it is spring centered wall. Understood? Now let us go for next one. Now this is synchronizing with the flow dividing wall. Okay, flow dividing wall. See, what are the flow is going to come from this direction control? Actually, it is divided with the help of flow divider. Okay, in the earlier, this flow divider was not there, but here flow divider is used. Okay, to divide your flow equally. Okay, you can see here we have the floater, that is actually this is a flow control wall. Okay, here we have the check wall also. Okay, and here we have that flow control. Okay, for both it is called the flow dividing wall only. Okay, now this flow dividing, please have a look. This synchronization with flow dividing walls. Okay, so this flow dividing walls. Okay, actually flow dividing or flow control. Actually, it is we have discussed okay in the topic of the flow control wall, that is chapter number 2, and this flow dividing wall can be used very effectively for our purpose to obtain the synchronizing motion. Okay, now how it is how it can be obtained, for that purpose only I have taken this figure. Okay, so as I have shown in this circuit diagram, you can see flow dividing wall actually it divides the flow into two equal parts irrespective of the what are the load for your cylinder. Okay, flow divider, it is used to divide your flow which is coming from your direction controller and which is going to your both the cylinder. Okay, so to divide flow into two equal part irrespective of load, this flow dividing wall is used. Getting it? And one point here we should note that this flow dividing wall actually it synchronize your extension stroke only. Okay, if you see in this case of our circuit diagram as I have shown. Okay, in retraction stroke your flow will pass through the directly check wall. No need that is not passing through your flow dividing. Okay, retraction stroke, okay, it will pass through this one directly, this check wall, you can see. Getting it? So if again if you want a synchronization is required in the retraction stroke or return stroke, that time here we have to provide additional flow divider in top line, that is must be here. Okay, here we can add the flow divider. If you want to this flow divider, that means if you want to go for equal division of the flow during the return stroke, now if you want equal flow, that time you can install flow divider at top, that means here. Getting it? Understood or not? Understood or not? Okay, up till now today we have discussed the regenerative circuit, then sequencing in that travel dependent, pressure dependent, synchronizing. Okay, now let us go for next one, counterbalancing. Okay, now to move further in this, before that I will show one small video. Just a minute.
In this video, I explain synchronizing circuit. That is a two type of the synchronizing circuit: cylinder in parallel and the cylinder in series. Okay. Now in first image you see that the cylinder are in parallel and second one in the series. Okay. And at the end of the video I give you the short conclusion so you can easily understand what is the difference between the parallel, either in a parallel circuit or in a series. So here you see this is the image. Okay, this is the directional controller, that is a 4x2 directional controller, that is a 2 positions 4 parts. Here you see that it is a cylinders too. Okay, in a fuel mechanics you already studied that pump connection in series and pump connection in a parallel. Okay, so in a pump what you study, so in a parallel connections the input coming from the one pipe is divided in a two pump. Okay, and in series what happen to the input of the another pump. Okay, then the speed of the uneven, means suppose here the 10 kilonewton is there. To avoid this, to have simultaneous extension, the flow divider are used as shown in this figure 2. Okay, now in figure 2 here you see that the outlet from the A port is come here, and after it is divided in two parts, and here you see the flow divider is provided. Okay, so they divide the flow according to the load on the cylinders. Okay, so here the flow divider is there. The one flow divider is connected with cylinder 1, So these are simple definitions that is not given, and I also request to visit the playlist.
Okay, just the sequencing also ho na. This one. I will see the counterbalance circuit.
In this video, I explain hydraulic circuit using the counterbalance valve. Okay, so generally you know the meaning of the counterbalance. Okay, so counterbalance means we need to balance the mass. Okay, but here we use the counterbalance valves. So I explained what is the meaning of counterbalance valves in the details during studying the working of these circuits. Okay, so first we understand what is the first positions and the second positions. Okay, now here you see these the reservoirs. This is the pump. Pump is runs by using the motor. This is the directional control valves. It is a 4x2 directional control because here you see this is a 2 square and 4 pot is there. This is the pressure relief valves, and here you see this is the counterbalance valve is used. Okay, and it is the double acting cylinder. This is the A pot and the B pot of the cylinder, and here you see that is the some weight is put in. Okay, so now we study about the first positions, and this diagram is given for the second positions. Okay, why that thing is are changed? Okay, generally we use this thread position for the first positions. Now, but here the different thing is mentioned. Okay, here they in a first position they mention that the oil is flow from P to B and A to T. P to B means this square is considered as the first position, means this diagram is for the second position is given. So pressurized oil come from the pump is supplied to this B pot. Okay, and oil flow through the check valve means oil coming from the B pot is passed through his part in a check valve, and then after supplied to the A pot of the double acting cylinders, and this is called as the free flow. Okay, why it is free flow? Because the oil is not passed from the counterbalance valve, but it is passed from the check valve. That's why it is called as the free flow. And the cylinder is extends and the lift the loads. Okay, so this oil enters from the A pot, is apply some force on the piston, and the piston is moving in a up directions. Okay, and here this side is rod is provided, and here the some weight that we require to lift up. So it is called as the extensions. Now you think that sir, in earlier systems we are consider when the piston is moving from top to bottom we are considered the extension strokes. But now in this theory you see that the piston is moving from bottom to top and it is called as extension strokes. Okay, but here you need to focus on which side the rod is provided. Okay, in this side the rod is on the top part. Okay, in earlier all the cases the rod is on the bottom parts. Okay, so one simple logic is that when the oil is supplied from the rod side, that we call it is the retractions. Okay, and when the oil is supplied from the cap end side, it is called as the extension strokes. Okay, this is the simple logic we need to consider for what is the extension and what is the retractions. Where the lever of 4x2 DCV is shifted to the second positions, the connection is made from P to A and B to T. Now here you see in this diagram, the oil is supplied from the pump is enter in P pot, from the P pot it is in A pots. Okay, and B to T means when the oil is supplied from A pot, it is supplied to the B pot. Okay, and this oil is applied the some force on the piston, and piston start to move in downward direction. So what amount of the weight is lifted, they are also start to move in downward direction. At the same time, the oil present in bottom side of the piston is supplied to the B pot, and from the B pot it is go to T pot and then go to the tank or a reservoirs. But in this system we use the counterbalance valve. Now what is the functions of counterbalance valve that we study here? Once the pressure below the piston reach the preset pressures, the counterbalance valve is opens and the counterbalance valve opens and allow oil to flow through it. Means suppose here we said that counterbalance valve pressure is the 8 bar. Okay, and the oil pressures below the piston is 8 bar, means it is the preset value of the counterbalance valve. Means we set the counterbalance valve at 8 bar and the 8 bar pressure is achieved below the piston, it is called as the oil is reached to the preset value. At that time the counterbalance valve is open. Okay, and the cylinder is start to retract. Suppose here we set the 8 bar pressures and here the pressure is only 6 bar. In a cylinder bottom part of the piston the pressure is only 6 bar, then what happened? Counterbalance valve is not open and the oil is not supplied to the B pot, T pot and to the reservoirs. Why these things are required? Okay, that is due to the we need to sustain the weight sometimes. Okay, here you see that weight is lifted, but we need to hold the weight for particular times or hours or for a day. Then what we do? we need to maintain these positions of the pistons. Okay, so suppose we are not providing this counterbalance valve, then what happen? That is, a retraction is going on because oil is directly supplied to the baypod, and so we are not able to hold the weight on the particular positions. So when we require to hold the weight on a particular positions, or we need to control the speeds of the weight lowerings, for these applications we are required to use the counterbalance valve, and then we are able to do the retractions at the particular speeds, or we are control the retractions. The counterbalance pressure is maintained at the bottom of the piston and the load is balanced from both the sides. The load is decayed slowly and it will not overruns. Okay, so due to the counterbalance valve, we are able to control the pressure in the bottom area, and here some weight is there. So due to this weight some force is applied, and due to this pressure of the oil some force is applied. So both these forces are equal, then we are able to sustain the load on a particular positions, or we are able to slowly down the weight and we avoid the overruns of the pistons or actuators. If there is a no counterbalance valve, then the load will be fall rapidly, because we know that all the weights are try to move in downward direction due to gravitational force. Okay, suppose we lifting this weight, which weight is the 1 ton, means 1000 kg. Okay, so suppose we are not sustain the pressure here, suppose we are not maintaining the oil pressures in this bottom part of the pistons, then the weight are start to move in downward direction due to gravitational force. Okay, so that's why we need to use the counterbalance valves. Okay, so there is a no counterbalance valve, then the load will be fall rapidly, and this cause damage to the cylinder and covers, and seal may be ruptures and oil may be start leaking from it. For all the negative loads, counterbalance valve is necessary. Okay, negative means they are moving in this opposing direction. For that I am making one different video, what is positive loads and what is the negative loads. Okay, so counterbalance valve is usually set for 1.3 times the load induced pressures. Now this load induced pressure in short written as the LIP. So load induced pressure is equal to overrunning load divided by the area of the pistons. So by using these equations we need to find out the what is the LIP, means load induced pressures, and according to that we are set these pressures in a counterbalance valve. So thank you for watching this video. If you learned something, then like the video and subscribe my channels for watching the more video related to the OHP and the another subject of the mechanical engineering. For more video of the OHP, the various link is provided in descriptions as well as in a playlist. For other subject I request to visit the playlist. Okay, and for the OHP subject, the various videos, important videos, and the playlist of this card in which I provide the various
Understood. Counterbalancing also, Mr. Okay. Industrial application. Okay, that is a hydraulic clamping system and braking system. That is the remaining from this circuit diagram. And along with that, there are some that fast approach and flow working hydraulic circuit are there. That also we'll see. Okay. Others some hydraulic milling circuit is there, hydraulic shaping, that means application oriented, that we will discuss. Okay, today at 3:30 p.m. we have another lecture, that time we will come. Okay, now what are today we have discussed whether it is understood or not. Just tell me and write your roll number in the chat box, and then you can leave this meeting. Okay, firstly tell me whether you understood or not, and then write your roll number. Understood or not, and then you write your roll number. Okay. Okay, now please write your roll number in the chat box and you can leave this meeting. Okay, we'll meet at 3:30 p.m. today. Thank you very much.